All right, I think we're back. I think we might. Or back or starting. Or something like that.
It's one or the other.
One or the other. All right, we apologize for that. Looks like we had some technical difficulties. Unfortunately, the venue does not let us use a wired internet connection, and that's kind of live streaming 101 for those of you at home. So we apologize. We're using everything we can. I'm Champ Unkind. I'm with the Cregan. It's currently 46-4. Wrecking Ball's on top of the Guardians. And I really, really hope this live stream is working now. Wheelie Rider taking time out to help us make sure it's working. Craig, why don't you tell us what happened there?
So, blue 440 would be
Bills.
Thought that the jammer had cut him. Therefore, the official review was for a penalty on the jammer. But after review, they have decided that Bills was actually behind the jammer when said jammer went out of bounds. Therefore, there was no penalty given, and Cleveland has lost their official review.
All right, you heard it there.
Credit goes to Nitro for scoping that out for us.
And I want you to get on the group chat. Get Blue on the group chat. Tell her you're doing it. Yeah, I did. You don't have to.
All right, so 20:13 remaining, still in a timeout. 46-4. Now going into our 5th minute of the official timeout, official review.
It is the timeout that doesn't end.
Well, for those of you who have never watched Wheels of Steel before, Friday always goes over. I don't know why. It just does.
We gotta shake the bugs out.
Yeah, it just does. You remember, oh, yeah, that's the rule. If they start awarding 5 points, I'm just going to get confused.
Or you see knee starts, double whistles.
They just really want us to hear us say Grand Slam again.
Somebody starts doing minors.
Pretty much. 4 minors equals a major.
I was lucky I got in a derby as soon as minors were abolished.
I reffed once, and it was like 3 years after. It was like 3 years after they got rid of majors and minors, and I said minor every time, or major every time. All right, so here we go, back to what matters. Right-hand man with the star for Cleveland. Going up against Toto. And Toto's going to the penalty box on a track cut. Looks like we've got ourselves a power jam.
We do, and right-hand man's going to capitalize on that as only he can. So this may be a good time for the Cleveland Guardians to put some points on the board.
And it was and he got out just as Toto hit the seat, so good timing.
Right-hand man's through. It's 4 in the sky for the Cleveland.
Yeah, doubling their score in one pass. Right-hand man coming into the pack, dodging to the inside, taking the hit. Going to have to recycle there. Now on the outside tiptoes, stays in bounds. This time able to just call it off. Questionable move there. I would have kept going maybe, but he does get a few more points. Of course, he is the jammer. I am not, and he is a much, much, much better jammer than I can ever hope to be.
Yeah, I think I might have, knowing how Carolina's had the predominant lead jams right now, might have called it off a little earlier to force a power start. So I might have gotten another power jam or another lead moving into the next jam. But like you said, he's way better than I am too. So
yeah. Another person way better than I am is Rabbit. He's on the jam line now for Cleveland, going up against Ice Cole. I think he's cooler than being cool.
He is. He is ice cold.
And he's also lead jammer. So right-hand man picks up 5 points, and then Carolina gets a lead jammer. So let's see what they do now.
White Shadow trying to take a last-minute hit there on Ice Cold as he came out of the engagement zone. No effect on that. 3 points, though, and a no pass, no point for Ice Cold. Rabbit hits the inside. Ice Cold coming back into the engagement zone behind Bills. Looks like we might have a possible star pass coming on as Rabbit has taken off the cover and dropped the cover, recovered the cover.
A lot of covers.
Yeah.
It's covered. It's covered.
It's covered.
Yeah, it does look like Bill has it, though.
No, I'm not seeing it. It looks like Bill's fighting for it, though.
Either way, if he doesn't, he's very no. He has it in his hand.
Has it.
Very sneaky there, Rabbit. Able to get through, pick up the
head fake to Dr. Dreidel.
he spun around like a dreidel getting out of there. And
Cole will call it off. Little conversation with the referee on the inside, maybe a point discrepancy.
Yeah, so now 57-9 after an 11-point jam. I think he wanted that last point. Gary Sweat is now the jammer.
Gary Sweat's going to sweat a little bit because he's got to go up against a formidable wall there that looks like it's being headed out by Lubinator, and Slingin' Grits.
Yeah, Cleveland will start with one blocker in the box. That's White Shadow. Nobody in the box for Carolina.
Looks like Jam Room.
Gary,
Jam Room.
yeah, Sweat looked almost like he was about to have it and then kind of slowed down in anticipation of something. Lost it. So Jam Room gets lead jammer.
Track cut is being called on Campbell Break.
Yeah, there were two number zeros out there. I had to look who was being called. It was either going to be Gary Sweat or Cambo Breaker, one of the two. And it was Cambo Breaker, so not a power jam. But Jam Room is on his first scoring pass of the jam. Able to stay in bounds. Yes, he does. 4 points. Carolina.
Nice little hop to the inside of the apex. Gary Sweat makes it out.
That's his initial pass. Carolina hailing from Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Remember, there are two Carolinas, so you never know which one. It's like with the Panthers. It's like with the Panthers, like you didn't necessarily know.
Columbia's the cool. It's the cool Carolina.
There you go. Of course, you're from Savannah.
I am. The Wrecking Balls in the whole Columbia, South Carolina area is my second Derby family. So I got a lot of love for the Carolina area.
Forearm penalty on Mr. Sergai, and I actually think that's his first ever penalty. So Mr. Sergai is a referee who is now has been converted to a skater.
Sounds familiar.
And in his first game against Pittsburgh, he's had 0 penalties. And it's funny because you think that you'd at least get one penalty in your first game. So I believe this is his first ever penalty, and now serving in the box. So now he knows what it feels like.
Yes.
to take a penalty. Right hand man jamming for Cleveland, and Toto for Carolina.
So on that. When I made my transition from ref to a player in my first game ever, it was still minute penalties, and I had to jam against Ice Cole of the Wrecking Balls, and I got 2 back-to-back penalties for 2 minutes, and nobody else did, and they benched me after that. I didn't jam the rest of that game, so I know what it's like as the referee to finally get a penalty.
Well, there's right-hand man just getting out of the pack. Let's see if Toto calls it off before he gets any points. He does. So it'll be 67-9 now after that jam. Cleveland with, it looks like 1 in the box and 1, or no, I'm sorry, 2 for Cleveland in the box. That looks like Jackson, and I believe that's Dragon Body. I'm sorry, no, Dragon Body's out there.
Rabbit returning with the star for Cleveland.
White Shadow and Dragon Body are the only 2 blockers out there for Cleveland. Ice Cole moving up the middle against that 2-all. Rabbit, good forward, but has to recycle. Good hit there by Slingin' Grits and Dr. Dreidel. As
it's hard to do when you're a 2-man blocking and you want to go chase down a jammer like Ice Cole to contain him, but then you get yourself into a no-pack situation and you have to let him go. It's frustrating.
Yeah, the 2 blockers that are out there are probably the 2 biggest blockers on Cleveland, so they can take up the most room. But Cole is very good and able to move past the 2. And a track cut on Rabbit. He will be heading to the penalty box. So now a power jam for Carolina as they've hit 71 points. Just under 13 and a half minutes remaining. We do apologize. There is no scoreboard available due to the venues not letting us use a wired connection. Because apparently bandwidth works that way here. Wired versus wireless, why they made it, I don't understand it either. If they're watching, they're probably like, wait a minute. It's roller derby, that's why. They're like, oh, nobody's watching. It's roller derby. We don't need, oh, excuse me, we have 14 people watching.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you all 14 people who are helping make us relevant.
We appreciate you making us feel useful.
Go ahead and drop some comments down there and let us know where you're at.
Shout out to Bad Bromance. Why isn't he here?
He was bowling.
Oh, he's bowling. Very important.
It looks like we have an official timeout being called after the jam was started. Not sure what happened. The players seem to be just as confused as me, which says a lot because I'm usually confused a lot.
Well, it's gotten very quiet.
Oh,
Okay, there we go.
And just to prove you wrong, somebody blows a whistle.
Oh wait, we have to get back. The team was kind of like, wait a minute, are we in timeout? And then they hear the 5 seconds from Mad Splatter, and they had to run all back into their positions.
Jam Room back on the track for the Wrecking Balls.
And somehow, okay, yeah. Oh, so Rabbit served the entire 30 seconds. That's why there was an error on the scoreboard. It is Sweat, the jammer for Cleveland, at the front of the pack. Bills gets pulled back. And now Jam Room getting pushed back by Shank.
And Jam Room getting pushed back by himself.
By Gravity.
By Gravity. That's a ghost blocker.
And now I think he gets a penalty, maybe. So now he's tying his skate. Gary Sweat is lead jammer. Oh, no, he's not. He's fixing his wheel. And why he's on the track doing it. Yeah, but I believe he should still be off. There he goes. Okay. London Mauling through the pack. I'm sorry. Gary Sweat through the pack, 4 points.
I have a London Mauling jersey over there.
You know, in 4 years he skated as London Mauling. I almost always called him Gary Sweat, and now that he's Gary Sweat, I've been calling him London Mauling. And looks like London Mauling gets a back block, and he does not like it. So power jam against Cleveland now.
Yeah, and it was not a power. So he never got called off the track. So apparently Jam Room did not receive a penalty.
No, and it's going to go the full 2 minutes. We're about just over 11 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in this first half. 40 seconds remaining in the jam.
Halo Chick with a nice hit to the outside, sending Jam Room back for a recycle.
Yeah, Halo Chick, a longtime veteran of roller derby.
And that's one of the things I like about the inclusiveness of the MRDA right now is the fact that
anybody can play.
Anybody can play, but you have a lot of female identifying skaters who want to play maybe a challenge to them or something different.
Something different.
Played years and years and years of
absolutely
the WFTDA rule set or the USARs and they want to try to come over now and play MRDA, which I think is a beautiful thing. Some of the biggest hits I've gotten in the game have been from the female skaters.
Yeah, I mean they hit. They definitely hit. Slinging Grits. I mean she's one of the hardest hitters.
Oh.
I don't care what association, what team, what league. She is one of the hardest hitters, period. Nitro sitting next to me agreeing.
I mean,
you played against her, haven't you? Yeah.
And then we saw it as we announced last year at Summer Affair together, where she played in one of the scrimmages there.
She was jamming that one time, and everybody just got right out of her way like a truck was coming through.
As well as they should have, because it was not going to be pretty.
And it looks like we're going to have an official timeout taken. It is currently 75-17 with Carolina on top. We have just under 10 minutes remaining, although the clock is still running. I don't think they've noticed that. So clock's still running during a timeout. Okay.
Awesome. Hey, I'd like to give a little sponsor reach out. August 9th through 11th in Akron, Ohio is going to be Summer Affair 2019 hosted by the Cleveland Guardians. Skaters participate in clinics hosted by some of the best skaters in the world, and then get to skate with and against them all weekend. This year's cast includes Scald Eagle, Lady Trample, Braun Swanson, Miracle Whips, Spin Diesel, Senior Wiener, and more. And also on the mic will be myself and, of course, Champ Unkind.
Yeah, I was dragged into it. Thanks,
but
Gary.
But don't forget to give London Mauling a high five or, Gary Sweat, whichever way you want to call
it.
it.
They look very similar.
Very similar.
It's a lot like Chris. It's a lot like Chris Schramm and Twinkle Beef. They're pretty much doppelgangers. Except I think London Mauling is a little bit better.
Yeah, he's not okay-ish.
He's most okay, and then Gary Sweat is also most okay.
Not the okayest.
One is the okayest and the other is most okay. Thank you. This is why we have a producer here, Nitro, correcting me and making my words better. It's just you're my filter. They go in you, and then you just spit them back out at me better.
I have a T-shirt my sister gave me. It's the world's okayest brother.
He's currently being attacked by the AT&T campaign ad. Coming up next. What is our next game? I don't have a schedule. Oh, there we go. There's one right. Coming up next, we have Race City versus Flower City. The highest-ranked team in the tournament, Race City, versus the lowest-ranked team in the tournament, Flower City. I believe Race comes in at 17, Flower coming in at 43. Although Race has been through a little bit of a transition in their skaters lately, so that's why they're here, testing out, seeing where they should be. So, could be an interesting game. And also Flower City, we can't forget, they've been improved this year. They are definitely a different team than they were last year. Get back to the action. It's right-hand man and Toto with the Stars. Right-hand man to the outside. One to beat at number 35. He's through. Lead jammer Cleveland. That's the third time that right-hand man has gotten lead jammer.
He is. He's killing it right now for Cleveland.
Yeah, just under 9:40 remaining now. Now coming in the pack on a square pass to the outside or inside. Pushes around.
Wise call off. He's going to hold Toto to 0, I believe.
Well, I don't know. Toto's close. Toto does get one.
He squeezed out 1.4.
Cleveland.
The Wrecking Balls.
Looks like he gets 4 points. So 76-18 now is the score as we're approaching 9 minutes remaining. Looks like we're going to have an official timeout as I saw an NSO jumping up and down waving.
And it wasn't for her health. I'm pretty sure it's a scoring error. Or
yes.
Timing.
Okay, no, it looks like they've corrected it. It is now 75-18. And I believe Maloik is watching now because she did text me. So
I saw that.
And also, if you're watching, please don't text me. Unless you're Maloik, she's my test dummy.
Well, and I saw Maloik had posted on the official Wheels of Steel page asking about the feed.
She knows right-hand man very well. I believe they're acquaintances.
I think so.
They have something going on next Friday.
Something.
It involves rings and I-do's and stuff like that. So first off, let's not break right-hand man. But back to the action. It's number 32. That'd be Ice Cold going up against Rabbit of Cleveland.
It is Rabbit.
Rabbit hopping around.
And
but
Ice Cold is your lead jammer. 4 points on the board for the Wrecking Balls.
Yeah, good 4 points there. Did not get really much resistance from Cleveland on that pass. Rabbit taking off the Star. A little slow to get up, but I think he's okay. Now he's got the Star in hand. Sneaky pass to Shank. Don't think he fooled anyone because Slinging Grits was just watching it like a hawk. Ice Cold to the outside. 4 points, Carolina.
Shank is now finished with the initial and is now your official jammer for the Cleveland Guardians after a successful Star pass.
Yeah, so it looks like, maybe
Cole calls it off.
Rabbit. Let's see, because he does look like he's in a little bit of pain. He's skating on 1 foot, basically, pushing with the other, yeah. So this is Rabbit's first season. He's still new to roller derby, but you wouldn't really know it from how he plays.
That surprised me. I would have guessed he's been around for a little bit.
I'll tell you what, give him a little seasoning. Put him him and right-hand man are going to be a very dangerous jamming duo. Yeah, I mean, he still makes a lot of those rookie mistakes, but once
and a nice Chianti.
He's expected to make them, and once you got to let the tannins settle a little.
Hit the tannins settle.
It's those tannins. It's all about the tannins. Speaking of tannins, it's Gary Sweat. I don't know how that's speaking of tannins, but it's Gary Sweat. Things you have to let set for a little bit. It's Gary Sweat. There you go, and he is lead jammer.
He is lead.
So that's 2 of 3 now for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they can fight a little bit here and get it a little bit closer. We've seen games where teams have gotten this far down and then got right back closer. The Magic City versus Philly game, the first game of champs last year, comes right to mind.
Right. I mean, this is only a 60-point-ish area.
Yeah, exactly.
Easily can switch.
Jam Room gets through. As he's approaching, Gary calls it off, picks up 4 points for Cleveland. So they are inching a little bit closer over the last few jams, but they're going to have to pick it up a little bit. They
are, and it's amazing what will happen with a halftime talk. So a lot of teams sometimes are a second-half team. They'll come out and they'll blow it out of the water in the second half.
Score currently 84-22. 6.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Right-hand man putting on the Star for Cleveland.
And Toto for the Wrecking Balls.
And he's through. Lead jammer. Just follow that yellow brick road, or actually stand between the yellow lines on the track is more accurate.
Stay between the yellow lines.
But, it doesn't work as well in song, but it works well as...
Don't cut.
We represent the Lolly Cut Guild. Either way, 4 points for Toto. Right-hand man still looking for room on his initial. Shank going to the box, looks like for a directional.
He did, and I was watching Luby out there because he backed up on him, and Luby was like, "What's actually happening here right now?"
Currently 92-22. Right-hand man did make the initial pass. Toto's going to call it off. As right-hand man approaches, takes a little extra time off the clock there. Now just under 5.5 minutes remaining. 92-22 is our score. Carolina on top. And you know, with the discrepancy, the difference between them in the rankings, you almost kind of expect this is right where the score would be. Carolina coming in ranked 30, Cleveland ranked 41.
Yeah, but we've also seen games too where a team who's come in low ranked,
absolutely,
blown teams out of the water all weekend.
Last year, not Carolina. Last year, Pittsburgh beating Atlanta. It was the big upset of the tournament, and that comes right to mind. Pittsburgh was 5 or 6 spots below Atlanta at the time, and they won, I think, by about 60 or 70 points. So right now, though, we do have Rabbit jamming for Cleveland. Looks like he's okay. Maybe it was a little just a pull or something.
Yeah, which is good. You hate to see somebody go down in the first game and be out for the weekend.
Absolutely. Ice Cold, the jammer. He is through. Lead jammer for Carolina.
Shank release from the box back on the track. Still one blocker down for Cleveland.
Some good offensive blocking there by Carolina. Ice Cold picks up 4 points. So they're now only that 4 away from the century mark as Dr. Dreidel heads to the penalty box.
I believe that's his first one of the game right now.
Spinning around. Good move there by Ice Cold to get through and pick up 4 points. But good. Shank out of the box, out of the pack, takes the star, and he will complete his initial. Let's see if Ice Cold will call it off. Let's see. He's attempting. I believe he does get it in time. Yes, he does. No points picked up by Cleveland as Carolina hits the century mark. Yeah, he took a hit there. Had to call it off.
I heard a whistle, and I was trying to see if there was a penalty being called on it, but it appears there's not.
Yeah, he fell down. He was looking right at Shank and was able to call it off. So current score 100-22 as we're approaching 3.5 minutes in this game.
Looks like we're going to have Jam Room facing off again. Well, first we're going to have an official timeout.
And we have official timeout because Gary Sweat is jamming for Cleveland.
I was going to say.
They just want to make sure that they're are you sure you want to do that? Okay. Well, earlier in the season, and really, London Mulling, Gary Sweat has been one of the jammers for Cleveland. He's been doing a little more blocking, but Old School recently retired, so now London is kind of thrown back into that role. It was, for their first home game against Pittsburgh, the main rotation was Old School, Rabbit, and right-hand man. Right. So London Mulling taking a step back into jamming. He does refer to himself as Cleveland's lead jammer, though, so he's probably happy about it. I like to call him Cleveland's other pivot. I was trying to clean it up.
I'm trying to think of how I can get him vote for me posters or something made with like Cleveland's lead jammer thing made for summer affairs.
I feel like Kent the politician would just somehow be angry about that. Anyway, vote for Gary.
Why don't we could have a runoff.
No, he'd be really angry about that. Wrong you are, Cregan. All right, so 3:29 remaining. About to get back here. 102-22. Carolina on top. Again, this is the first game of Wheels of Steel 2019. I'm Champ Unkind with the Cregan. Nitro on production. London Mulling forced to recycle back to the jam line as Jam Room finds room and is lead jammer. London Mulling spinning around, but yeah, he does get through past Cambo breaker. Cambo almost got in his way a little bit there, and London just moved slightly to the inside to get past.
Well, he made it. He made it around Grits first, and I think he thought he was home free, and then Cambo was right there to meet him, but he was able to get past 2 blockers.
Well, Gary Sweat now back in the pack, so he will pick up some points there. Jam Room now on another scoring pass. He's gotten 4 so far in this jam. To the inside, White Shadow pushes him. Did he get him far enough? Doesn't look like it. Cleveland's pack reforming. Gary Sweat threw again for 4 points. That was his first 4-point pass. He got reabsorbed back into the pack. Jam Room calls it off.
But 4 points on the board. Sweat moving out of okay-ish into that lead jammer status area.
Yeah, he was a little okay there. But he did better than okay with 4 points. So it's now 110-26. As we're approaching 2 minutes remaining, it's going to be Toto against right-hand man.
This matchup for this game historically has been awesome. Both jammers have been given back and forth.
And they've gotten
switched.
Yeah, and they've gotten several leads, exactly. So now Toto at the front of the pack going up against Bills, who's pushing him to the inside now against Dragon Body. Right-hand man going up against Sling and Grits into that pack. Now move to the inside really quick. Can he? Yes. Yes, he does. Right-hand man picks up lead. Jammer. There is about a 1 second difference between the jam clock and the game clock. 1:30, 1 extra second on the jam clock. About 90 seconds left in the first half. Right-hand man gets pushed to the outside of turn 2, forced to recycle. Now moving back in there. Oh, wait, it looks like a high block. I'm sorry, that's a high block on a Guardian. I thought that was on Toto. So 2 Guardians blockers in the box, Bills and Dragon Body. 4 points for right-hand man. And 4 points for Toto.
It looks like it's going to be a race right now of jammers around getting 4 points as we've got a good good jammer.
Well, right-hand man calls it off. Does get the extra point.
Right.
So we'll be 31 to 114. About 45 seconds left in this half. And I do hear whistles, so I do think somebody's taking the timeout. Official review. So the officials take the timeout.
The Wrecking Balls, I believe, are going to challenge the high block call. That's the only thing I think is to be challenged right now that happened in the last jam.
My favorite part about announcing at tournaments is that we have a producer who can actually run into the pack or to the group there and find out exactly what is happening. So what they're deciding. But don't forget about Next Level Skate Shop. You all know it, Next Level Skate Shop at home. Next Level Skate Shop is a full-service roller skate shop, in Cleveland, Ohio, specializing in roller derby as well as recreational and artistic skating. Next Level has everything to keep you rolling, offering gear, repairs, maintenance, upgrades, services, and more. Next Level Skate Shop. Skate hard. Have fun.
And here comes our wonderful producer back.
And they're looking for a track cut call on the blue jammer, right-hand man. So you were wrong. They were not challenging that penalty.
That happens 60% of the time. It works all the time. So
it was that other 60%.
Other 60%.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense at all, but I never make sense.
It's got bits of real Panther. That's all you really need to know.
That's all you really need. It actually smells like burnt Indian food.
Okay, my name is Champ Unkind. Yeah. Don't make me quote that movie. I won't stop. And of course, we want to thank all of our volunteers here this weekend. Not just the announcers, who we are, but all of our refs, officials, medics, everyone who's taking a moment. Of course, we do appreciate you all watching Wheels of Steel 2019. We apologize that the scoreboard is not functional. Will not be functional this weekend. Looks like the penalty is declined, or it looks like the challenge is declined. So Carolina will now lose their official review.
For you mathletes at home, that means we're 0 for 2 on keeping official reviews in the first half.
So it is Ice Cole and Gary Sweat, your jammers. Ice Cole is lead and Gary Sweat is okay. Cole got through, but then gets forced out of bounds and now has to recycle. So he will not pick up any points on this pass. This is a recycle pass. Under 30 seconds left now in the first half, but about 90 seconds left still on the jam clock, which is like a GAM clock.
Yeah. Cole's back out. Now he's on his scoring pass.
Yeah, as Gary Sweat heads to the penalty box.
Inopportune time for a penalty. I mean, every time it's probably inopportune, but
yeah.
Right at the end of the first half, it's probably inopportune.
Period clock has ran out. I believe that is Chris Jackson's 6th penalty. I wasn't counting, but I saw Coach Nikki Numbers look back in amazement with a "oh my God" look on her face. So that's going to be the end of the first half. We are going to go to halftime. Current score 118 Wrecking Balls, 31 Guardians. I'm Champ Unkind.
I am the Kragan.
And we'll tell you more stuff in about 14 and a half minutes. Thanks for joining us. We're going to put this on silent so you don't have to go anywhere. And we don't have to restart the live stream, which causes problems. All right, we're back here at Wheels of Steel 2019. Champ Unkind
Hello, Cragen.
and Nitro sitting next to us as our wonderful producer. You're currently watching Carolina and Cleveland, the Carolina Wrecking Balls and Cleveland Guardians. Carolina sitting on top currently 118-31. Carolina comes into this game ranked number 30 in the MRDA, Cleveland at 41. We're just getting started here in just another moment. Currently, Gary Sweat in the penalty. I'm never going to get that right now. He did it to mess with me.
Let's just come up with a third name that's a conglomeration of both of them, and then
London Sweat. There we go.
London
Gary Mulling and London Sweat.
London Sweat.
Here we go. And the power start. It is Toto with the star. Looking for room. Chris Jackson, who actually had a penalty rescinded from him at the end of the end of the first half.
And this is a power start coming off for Wrecking Balls. Toto will get lead jam again, but not to be outdone. London Sweat back on the track.
Yeah, just out of the penalty box. Yeah, well, Chris Jackson, it's a good thing he got that penalty rescinded because he would have been at 6 after the first half. Now he will start the second half with a gentleman's 5.
Gentleman's 5.
London Mulling gets pushed out by Dr. Dreidel, forced to recycle. And there goes Toto for 4 more points. First 4 of the second half.
I want to know what a gentleman's 5 is.
That used to be my normal halftime score for myself, was a gentleman's 5.
Back when they let us have 5 points.
Yes.
Jam comes to a close after London Mulling finishes the initial pass. 3 points, I believe, 3 more points picked up. Yep. 125-131 now. Just under 29 minutes remaining in the first game of the first day of Wheels of Steel 2019.
On the only track.
On the only track. Luckily, there's only one track.
Luckily. Yeah, sometimes those multi-day events with multi-tracks, you get that whistle bleed over between.
Yeah, especially when they're in like the same room, you know.
In the same room.
Or in a place with some acoustics where things
like
just bounce around.
Summer Affair.
Like the Summit County Fairgrounds. Which is a sponsor, kind of. So now we are in our second jam. It is Jam Room and Right Hand Man. And Right Hand Man going to the penalty box very quickly, about 10 seconds into the jam. Carolina's penalty box is now empty. A full 4 complimentary of blockers.
Lots of instruction coming from Old Dirty Packer out there on the track, bringing his wall back together for the Wrecking Balls.
Good block there by Shank on the inside. Help from Xander Danger and White Shadow. Goralicious trying to break that 4 wall apart in anticipation of Right Hand Man's return. Either that or practice jamming. 4 points on the board for Jam Room.
Right Hand Man threw on the initial quickly to the inside.
He's very difficult to contain, especially if you give him any room at all. He reminds me a lot of Stelly in his movement.
Yes. Yeah, his MO today has been quick, and nice juke moves, throwing those blockers off.
Yeah. He really, I mean, when I watch him, I honestly think I'm watching Stelly half the time. He just moves so similarly, and that's a compliment right there, because Stelly is probably a top 5 jammer in MRDA.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure and displeasure of blocking for and against him.
We've got Rabbit with the star for Cleveland. Going up against Ice Cole of Carolina. So now Rabbit still in for room. Ice Cole forced to recycle, and it's Rabbit through first. Lead jammer for Cleveland. First lead jammer of the second half. Cleveland's been scoreless so far in the second half. Let's see if they can stop it.
I just got Rabbit's number. It's taken me all of the first half to look at that. Rabbit,
Bunny
13.
ears. Bunny ears.
Well, he's also lucky 13.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But it also kind of looks like bunny ears from the side.
It does. But
so when he's sideways, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, it just took me a second. I kept staring at it.
Yeah, this is his first year, and he's done a great job so far. 4 points on the board for Carolina as Ice Cole did lap up the other jammer. But Rabbit does get his full 4, calling it off before. So it is going to be a 4-4 jam.
It does look like Rabbit took a hard hit. He's holding that midsection a little bit.
Well, he did take a big hit in the first half that kind of knocked him out for a couple jams. So it is 137-35 now as we are just under 26 minutes remaining. Remember, well, he is a newer skater, so you're still learning the falls. He's still learning, as we all are. Every day's learning
Every
experience.
day's learning experience.
I've learned.
Oh.
Speaking
London
of
Sweat.
speaking of needing to learn things, London Sweat is the jammer of Cleveland.
Huge hit by Toto to Shank.
Yeah, and Shank there. White Shadow at the front of the pack. Good bridging there by Chris Jackson, but not enough as Toto does get lead jammer. But look, Gary Sweat also out of the pack. Not far behind and due to that pack position. Let's see if maybe he can sneak a point away. No, maybe. No points for Carolina there.
I'm not seeing anything.
2 points for Cleveland. So a sneaky Sweat there.
It is, and I think they've put up more points in these first couple jams than they did the first couple jams of the first half, if that makes sense.
I believe you're right. Now 137-37, about 24:40 remaining in this game. You are watching the first game of Wheels of Steel 2019. It's Cleveland and Carolina. As there goes Jam Room picking up a track cut. It's going to be a power jam in favor of Cleveland, who has right-hand man on the line.
He seemed pretty surprised on that. I don't think he thought it was a track cut, but the officials are the officials for a reason.
They have a much better view than we do. In fact, we kind of struggle to see the track from where we are. It's a light-colored track on a light-colored court on a light-colored white concrete.
But because of that penalty, Jam Room was never given a award of lead, so therefore right-hand man will be your lead jammer for Cleveland.
Yes, he is. Now on a scoring pass, moving to the inside.
Nice hop.
Good hop, stays in, or no, he doesn't. It's a track cut on him.
All right, we'll have a jammer switch in the penalty box.
And it's probably going to be about the full 30 seconds because Jam Room was already standing, and it is going to go that full 2 minutes. You're right.
Full 2 minute jam, which is great if you need to make a score up. But if you're already gassed, it's going to be horrible on the cardio.
Yeah, and that was Jam Room's initial pass right there after he got out of the box. Remember, he committed the track cut on the initial. Right-hand man probably did pick up a few points we don't know yet because of the penalty.
I would, if I was a betting man, I'd give him about 2 right now on that scoring pass.
At least. 4 points picked up, first 4 of the jam by Jam Room and Carolina. Right-hand man out of the box, and it's now empty.
Yeah, uncharacteristically empty.
I had a ref tell me once that, when people complain that penalties are missed in MRDA, she told me it's all a penalty. We're just sweeping up as much as we can. Right-hand man going back to the penalty box on another track cut. So 2 for the price of 1 for Carolina.
So that you bring up a good point. I remember the first time I ever officiated an MRDA game, it was actually the old villains that used to come from who's playing 151 Threads.
Yeah. Just a scoring update. It was 4-1 on that last pass there. Now 150 Carolina, 41 Cleveland. 22 minutes remaining.
But they played the wrecking balls, and I remember I was at OPR, brand new, and I watched so many recycles happening. I couldn't keep track of who was cutting who or what, and I got boggled, and I was like, you know what, this is way too much.
Yeah, I've had many refs tell me before that WFTDA is very smooth, as where MRDA is, just, especially when you get outside of the top 10, there is just so many penalties. It's very difficult. So let's give our referee some love. Doing a tough job, but doing it well so far. Ice Cole is the jammer for Carolina. It is a power start. Right-hand man now out of the box, and again an empty penalty box for everyone. Ice Cole through, lead jammer. Right-hand man. 3 to beat, 2 to beat, 1 to beat. That's Sling and Grits, the 1. As another track cut on right-hand man. 3 in a row now. 3 in 2 jams. Will send him back to the penalty box.
I think he's probably sitting on 4 or 5 right now.
Yeah, and he's sitting there with Bills as well.
And Bills is up there as well.
Yeah. So 154-41 currently the score. 21 minutes remaining as Ice Cold gets through and picks up another 4 points. Ice Cold hops to the inside. Halo Chick neutralized by that Carolina pack. It's Jackson and Dragon Body at front. Bill's now out of the box, so Cleveland has all their blockers. And there's the jammer.
Hopefully, right-hand man can capitalize on this.
One to beat. He is through. A good pass there by right-hand man, but it was only the initial.
Well, the best thing that can happen now is getting it called off.
Yeah, and so he did what he had to do. That's the best thing you can do in that situation. Get out of the box, get out of the pack, and stop, and just stop it as best you can. Score now 165-41 as we're approaching 20 minutes remaining in this game.
We'll have Toto returning to the track for the Wrecking Balls with the star.
It's going to be Rabbit for Cleveland.
See if that rabbit's foot holds out.
I wonder if before the game they all rub his foot.
I'm not a foot person, so that's kind of weird.
I don't know. Maybe it's a good luck ritual. I don't know. But either
Apparently
way, hey, it worked this time. Rabbit is lead jammer. So opportunity here for Cleveland to catch up a little bit. Up the middle, hit it and split it now to the outside. Dr. Dreidel neutralized by Xander Danger, and 4 points Cleveland.
Dr. Dreidel, successful star pass, will now be your lead jammer for the Wrecking Balls.
I had a little Dreidel. He put on the star. And I'm going to sing it. Stop singing now because the jam is over. So Cleveland gets another 3 points on the board. There's 7 total on the jam. 167-48 as we're about to hit 19 minutes remaining. 167, Carolina, 48, Cleveland.
And Dr. Dreidel, for taking that star, was able to squeak out 2 points at the last little second. As Rabbit hit the ground, he didn't call off near quickly from the impact. So,
well, we're going to have an official timeout now, and I wonder if that's what they're going to be discussing. But we'll find out. This official timeout brought to us by RollerDerbyMerch.com. Skater owned and operated by our very own Deb Crush, making merch great again. So it looks like we're about to get back. We've got Gary Sweat.
And Jam Room.
Both jammers in the pack. Cleveland, if you're wondering, Cleveland is in blue and green, and Carolina is in orange. If you can make out colors on there.
And the referees are not in either of those colors.
Yes, the referees are the black and white ones. Jam Room looking for room at the front. Nobody has gotten through yet on an initial. And there goes Jam Room just as I say something. As well as a forearm on Cambo breaker. So one now in the box for Carolina. Jam Room on his scoring run. London Malling through for the initial pass. Approaching the pack. Let's see if maybe he can get a couple points in there. Yes, it looks like he will. Jam Room still inside that Cleveland pack, though.
He is. Yeah, he hasn't seemed like he wants to call it off yet, so I think they're going to get another pass out of it.
Well, it's going to be a power jam now. London Malling heading to the penalty box for a back block or a track cut. Excuse me, that was a track cut. Her hand signal was kind of a cross between track cut and back block.
It was
track block.
But we got it. It was track block.
Let's call it that. I made up a penalty.
So now it seems like we have a switch from the first half, as it seems the Wrecking Balls are sending all their blockers to the box this time around.
Well, there is one, yeah, currently still in there.
We have Grits currently still on the track.
Jam Room is the lead. He has already gotten 4 points on the jam with about 28 seconds left in the jam. London Malling out of the box. As, I believe Chris Jackson just picks up at least his 6th penalty. So he needs to start watching that a little bit. Gary Sweat gets pushed out of bounds. That'd be by Rugburn. And he's going back to the box.
It would appear that Gary Sweat is heading back to the box again.
So Coach Nicky Number is going to call a timeout. Or official review. No, that's a timeout. Score currently 175-48, 16:51 remaining. Here we do Carolina is on top. You're watching Carolina and Cleveland. Our first game of Wheels of Steel 2019. I'm Champ Unkind.
I am the Craigan.
We are, of course, joined here by the one and only Nitro. And hey, we should also talk about Summer Affair, because if you're not going, you totally should. Even if you're not skating, it's just so fun to hang out. It is sold out for skaters, but you can come watch. Why? Because it's free. Yes, if you have signed up, Gary Sweat would like your money.
If not, he's going to send Nitro to your house.
He's going to ask in the most okay, annoying way. You'll probably have to run a clinic next year or something.
And they're going to come in an electric car.
You'll have to give Gary rides because he can't make it from Cleveland to Akron in an electric car. That's not a joke. People are learning stuff today.
Just in 20 years, he'll be able to go a lot more places. But until then,
If you drive a Tesla, that's a decent car. That can get you from point A to point B. Gary has a Nissan Leaf. Why? That's your answer. I don't know.
there's some Derby quiz history for you listeners. If you can find out why Gary Sweat drives a Nissan Leaf.
Because the Toyota Prius was too convenient.
I will give you all of the fake Derby points in the world. Just go ahead and leave your answer in the comments.
Let's be honest. Aren't all Derby points fake Derby points?
Well,
maybe.
maybe. If you're playing, I'm sure.
No, those are a little more real. Now, Ice Cold is jamming. London Mauling is in the penalty box for the power start. Currently 175 Carolina, 51 Cleveland. 16:53 was the official start time of this jam. And now we are underway. And it's Ice Cold, lead jammer.
Shank had a swing and a miss hit, and I thought he was going to chase down Ice Cold, but thought better of it and came back and joined his 3-wall.
There's a lot of people from Philadelphia listening. A lot of people affiliated with Penn Jersey listening. 4 points on the board for Ice Cold. Gary Sweat out of the box.
His new name now is London Gary Sweat Mauling.
London Sweating.
London Sweat.
There we go. People at home are probably like, you're making fun of him so much, but let me tell you something about Gary Sweat. Gary Sweat's favorite things are things that are about Gary Sweat, so he's probably just happy we're talking about him. Microphones today provided by Gary Sweat.
Exactly. He'll go home and he'll listen to this live feedback and he'll smile for days.
He'll never give me his microphones again. What Gary doesn't know is that Champ also has microphones he just didn't bring. It's going to be right-hand man on the jam line. Score currently 181-51. Carolina on top, 15:32 remaining. I believe that's Toto.
And it's Toto, yep. A matchup for all matchups. Toto to the inside. Huge hit by Bills.
Yeah, that was great. He just leaned in and pushed him right off the track. And right-hand man gets lead jammer. He has the most lead jammers for Cleveland. Toto. Yep.
Finally makes it out, yeah.
Toto is out of the pack. Right-hand man picks up 4 points for Cleveland, though. Toto now approaching the pack. Right-hand man isn't looking at it, instead looking at his coach. So Nikki Numbers looks like she's just saying, keep going. Just keep going. Maybe trying to get Bills out of the box, or maybe just trying to get a few more points on the board at this point. But it doesn't matter because the back block is going to send a right-hand man to the penalty box.
I was paying attention to the animated couples dancing happening over here on the coaching from the Wrecking Balls over that back block call.
So we are on a power jam now. Toto. You hear a whistle, you just stop and listen. White Shadow going back to the penalty box, and that's going to be the end of the jam. One more point picked up by Carolina. It will be a power start. 189-55. Nikki Numbers calling a timeout with 14:08 remaining.
This will be an official review being called by Cleveland. We were 0 for 2 on official reviews in the last half, so let's see if somebody can actually win it this half.
Yeah, maybe somebody can win an official review. Who knows? Maybe they won't, but, whatever. Just want to give a shout-out to another sponsor, which would be Next Level Skate Shop. Skate hard, have fun. Oh, and, of course, our jam line sponsor, ProTech. Of course, Pittsburgh East Roller Villains, who are throwing this tournament here, the Pittsburgh Blue Streaks, the home team and host team.
The venue is starting to fill up a little bit more as the other teams who play later in the day are starting to show up and gear up, and starting to get a nice little audience here for this inaugural bout of the weekend.
Yeah, and while we only have 14:08 remaining in this game, don't go anywhere because at 2 o'clock we have Race City and Flower City. At 4 o'clock, Houston and Pittsburgh. And at 6 o'clock, our final game, Atlanta and Casco Bay. And let me tell you, you don't want to miss that Atlanta-Casco Bay game. That is a rematch from probably the most exciting game here last year that came down to the wire at the last jam of the Saturday night last year. It was a great game. And you're not going to want to miss that 6 o'clock game. Trust me. No, I will not be announcing. I'm not saying because of that.
But I will be.
Yes, Craig will be. So maybe you shouldn't watch it.
Maybe not.
Or just turn the volume down.
Way down.
Try announcing for yourself.
I do that with professional wrestling on the weekends.
Bad advice from Champ Unkind.
Yeah, right?
But let's be honest. Do I ever give good advice? No.
I won't claim it.
No. I don't, and I don't claim to do it. I just say things. So Nitro will be finding out what the official review is about. I'm guessing it's the penalty on right-hand man. Because I think if we did like a statistical analysis of what the penalties were, that would be like the jammer penalty will probably be the most challenged. Oh, so it does look like there was an illegal call-off against the orange jammer Toto. So he's going to sit in the box because he can't do that. He was not lead. Right-hand man was lead. So I believe we're going to have the start, and then right-hand man will rush out there.
And that is correct. And they will retain their official review, which means they get one more chance at that at their, later on in the game if they want to.
Good catch by Nicky Numbers and the Guardians noticing that. So I don't think they know that yet. I think we know that, but they haven't been informed yet. I think they're informing them now. And they'll keep that official review. You're right.
Yep. So we are now 1 for 3.
Yeah, 1 for 3. At least somebody got one.
Yep. I have one stat a game I like to keep track of, and that's my stat this game.
Well, Nicky Numbers has been coaching a long time. This is her first year as the Guardians coach, but she's been a Crooked River roller derbies coach for years, a JRDA team that, not this year, but the last 3 years went to JRDA champs. So she knows what she's doing. So we're going to get back here in 5 seconds. Once again, the score, Carolina 189, Cleveland 56, 14:08 remaining. And here we go into our next jam. Right-hand man just going around the pack that way.
I mean, it wasn't illegal.
No, because he didn't get in front of the pack the first time. So getting a little speed now, moving to the outside. Dragon Body with a good block now, moving inside, staying in bounds. He's through. Lead jammer Cleveland.
Nice little scoop move from the inside to the outside.
Very smart move. Right-hand man's a guy. He has some momentum behind him. He's going to be able to do that kind of stuff. Toto out of the box, out of the pack. Right-hand man on his tiptoes trying to get that full 4. Let's see what he does. Now getting Toto past 1. Now Toto will lap up the opposing jammer. He'll get 4 points.
Not exactly sure on the not calling it off just yet at that point.
Yeah, I understand wanting to get the 4, but Toto's been doing a great job all game. Good hit there by White Shadow at the front of the Cleveland pack on Toto. Right-hand man. Oh, that was almost a back block right there.
It was.
I think if Dr. Dreidel had fallen about a few inches further, that would have been called.
It was. I almost have expected to hear a whistle.
Yeah, I think they were all kind of looking for it there.
And the thing with that is because you have the experience level on the referees in this type of a thing. You never know who's looking at the penalty at that time, and the experience level judging on impact.
Exactly. Well, he does get a track cut this time though, so didn't get the back block, got the track cut. Now another power jam in favor of Carolina. Now 193-60. I believe that's right-hand man's 6th penalty. So Cleveland is inching very close here with just under 12.5 remaining to have a lot of players fouling out.
Yeah, and you have to wonder what's going to happen if right-hand man was to foul out, leaving him out of jam rotation.
Shank would be jamming. Not trying to give away strategy, but it'd be Shank.
Well, but just what would happen with the team right now? How many lead jam possibilities are going to be lost?
Absolutely. Jam comes to a close, 12 minutes remaining. 193 Carolina, 60 Cleveland. Right-hand man does get 4 points on the jam before going to the box, and it does look like that power jam came to a close just as the whistle sounded. So Rabbit will now have the start for Cleveland.
And Ice Cole returning to the track for the Wrecking Balls.
Nobody currently in that penalty box. We'll be getting started here. About 11:30 remaining. And we have a timeout. Just when we were so close.
Right. Remember, if you're local in this area and you just happen to be listening to the stream for whatever reason, the after party tonight will be at Scooby's Pub, 414 New Alexandria Road in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. So make sure you come on out tonight if you're local and you want to come hang out with us at the after party location.
And if you're not local, you should still come because they have amazing wings. I'm telling you, you're going to see these wings, and your mouth is going to drop because they're big, they're meaty, they're crispy, they're awesome. Like I've been thinking about this for like a week. How much I want those wings. Speaking of meaty and crispy, it is Rabbit. Our lead, or Rabbit is jammed for Cleveland, going up against Ice Cole. Ice Cole is now lead jammer. Back in the pack, looking for some points.
Rabbit almost made it out of the initial, but got hit back in and recycled.
Say what you want about Cleveland and how they're playing, but their jerseys are I love their jerseys. Best jerseys in MRDA.
I like blue, so I'm already a fan.
I'm a little biased. Yeah, they changed the shade of the green this year, and it's much better. Bills had the star after the star pass does get in. He does get 4 points, though. Very quick move by Bills. 1 point for Carolina.
Very emphatic call off by Ice Cole as he was hit to the outside.
Absolutely.
Letting his jam ref know that he was, in fact, calling it off.
Carolina hits the 200-point mark, so now 201 to 67. 10.5 remaining in this first game. One Carolina blocker currently in the penalty box. Gary Sweat, whatever his name is. That guy wearing number 0, the most okay jammer, is the jammer for Cleveland.
Jam room for the Wrecking Balls.
And London Malling falling down.
Now that song is in my head.
Yeah, right, there you go. London Malling to the inside, picks up lead jammer for Cleveland. Jam room looking for room, gets past Xander Danger, the last blocker, as Shank will head to the penalty box for Cleveland. Gary Sweat back inside the pack. He's got interchangeable names. Let's just call it that.
He does.
He's whatever I feel like calling him today.
That'll be for the Wrecking Balls as Jam Room comes through. Gary Malling now calling.
Yeah,
calling
nice little
Jam
hop
off.
there, too, to get in front and then call it off. Probably got an extra point there from it.
Looks like he picked up all 4. All 4 for the Guardians after a good Gary Malling hop, skip, and a jump with the call off.
Absolutely. So now 205 to 70. 9:33 remaining to be precise. I was going to say 9.5, but I want to give everybody at home the most accurate of accurate information. And that timeout is taken by Carolina. Or I'm sorry, no, Cleveland.
I'd like to give a big shout out for the officials. We have officials here from all over the country and Canada, actually here helping to support Wheels of Steel.
It's an international affair because of one ref.
Well, what's her name in the black too? She's from Canada.
Oh, 2. I'm sorry, 2. There are 2 Canadians here. There we go. Well, welcome to the Canelian, which is like Canadian. It's near Canada.
Canada?
The Canadian delegation. I hope they brought some maple syrup. If not, they're still welcome, but I would like them more if they brought maple syrup.
It'd be way better than the syrup we had at the hotel this morning.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Back to the action. Toto on the track for the Wrecking Ball is being recycled to the back.
Right-hand man for Cleveland also getting pushed behind that Protect jam line. Now back in the pack. Solid wall there by Carolina, doing it again, but good movement by right-hand man, able to stay in bounds legally, or re-enter legally, excuse me. And Toto is lead jammer.
It was good awareness by right-hand man to hear. Oh, that was a huge hit. To hear the out-of-play call on the Wrecking Balls and be able to jump back on again.
Yeah, that was whiplash with that hit. Calls it off.
Sounds like there's way more than 4 whistles. I wonder if there's a penalty called at the last second. But
I'm not sure. Bills is in the penalty box for Cleveland. Score currently 208. Carolina 70. Cleveland 8:40 remaining in this game. Our first game of Wheels of Steel 2019.
4.0.
4.0. When is Wheels of Steel 4.1?
It's a good question.
Okay.
Official review being called on the track.
Tomorrow afternoon, according to Nitro, is when 4.1 starts.
Yeah. We moved to 4.2 at the after party. 4.3 starts Sunday morning.
And then back to 4.0.
Yeah, and then back
at
to
some
4.0.
point. Don't ask me. I don't understand it either. It's Gary Sweat
versus Ice Cold.
You know you don't sweat if you're cold.
That's correct. Little hop to the inside of the apex. Ice Cold will be your lead jammer.
A coal sweat. There you go. A coal sweat. If they had a child, it would be a coal sweat.
Ice Cold sweats.
It's terrifying. Gary Sweat is through the pack. 4 points, though, on the board from Ice Coal and Carolina, who taps his hips and calls it off just as Gary Sweat was entering the pack.
And just as we creep under 8 minutes left in this game, team timeout being called by the Wrecking Balls.
Yeah, you're up by 142 points with 7 minutes left. Why not call a timeout?
I mean, they got him. Why not?
Because the formula for MRDA... Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Gary Sweat. I have to remember, Nitro doesn't have a microphone, so when I reply to him, you can't necessarily hear it. But it is going to be Rabbit with the star for Cleveland.
Hey, also like to give another shout out here. If you happen to be local and you end up stopping by this weekend, they are doing a photo booth for charity, $5. Money goes to Sir John and Coach Howley's adoption fund. Some of the pictures will also be added from Flower City, and some of the pictures will be added to a calendar that they'll also be selling for charity for their fund.
Yeah, so if you get a photo taken in the booth, you could be selected to be on a calendar, so make sure it's a unique pose. I was winking. You couldn't see me, but I was winking there. You can maybe hear the clicking sound of the point I have to remember people can't see us. Finger guns.
Finger guns, but people are back on the track. It looks like they're doing a little quick track maintenance. We're now in an official timeout.
Yeah, that would be Cheese, who is doing the track maintenance. That would be Wheelie Rider's son, for those of you who don't know. Currently taking a break from roller skating to attend college. Playing college roller derby. Because it doesn't exist, so that's fake. It's totally a thing.
Well, unless Arizona State and Arizona actually has a university-sponsored derby team, and they sell their merch in the university store next to the Arizona other sports apparel.
So I made a joke, but I learned something.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you, Cregan.
I didn't know until they played one time, and they were selling with the official trident of Arizona State.
That's crazy. That's great. Hey, maybe roller derby is moving up in the world.
It is.
Someone tell Derby Hell that.
Yeah, Derby Hell.
All right, it is Rabbit and the Jam Room, who's kind of like a panic room.
Yep.
But he's very calm, so quite impressive. Rabbit forced to recycle all the way back behind that Protect Jam line as Mr. Sergai goes back to the penalty box.
I imagine a Jam Room being a room full of nothing but preserves and jam. And then if you had a rabbit in a jam room, it would be the fattest rabbit ever.
So much sugar.
So much. Diabetes.
Rabbit right into that pack. That was a very fearless move there.
That was fearless.
And draws a penalty on one of the blockers, too, so it helped him.
So we'll have a blocker team switch going on here, it looks like.
Yeah.
One Guardian on, one Wrecking Ball in.
Yeah, Mr. Sergai out, Cambo Breaker in. So 4 points for Jam Room there, and I believe 4 points for Rabbit. So now 212 to 74. I'm sorry, 216 to 74 in favor of Carolina. As we're approaching 6.5 minutes remaining. Once again, you are watching Carolina and Cleveland. We apologize about the scoreboard, but our venue won't let us use the wired, and we can't connect to the scoreboard Wi-Fi. So, yeah, you know who to blame. I didn't do it. Because apparently Wi-Fi works like that. I honestly don't know how any of it works. I'm trying not to sound facetious, but it's probably coming off that way. That's why they call me unkind. It's right-hand man jamming for Cleveland.
And its right-hand man will be your lead jammer.
And Toto clicks his heels 3 times and has accidentally gone back to the penalty box.
That's the Toto who starred in Return to Oz, not Toto from the original.
And that
movie.
would actually should send him to the penalty box anyway.
Anyway.
Because that dog should not be alive by now. For a movie filmed in 1930, that's a little bit crazy. Right-hand man now looking for room. He is the lead jammer. Trying to get behind his pack. Chris Jackson opened up a hole, but not enough. That Carolina pack able to stay in back and knock him out as Power Jam comes to a close.
Toto returned to the track. Looked like he was going to fake out for a star pass.
That's a hit there.
Looks like he is now going back to the penalty box. This will be a back-to-back Power Jam for the Guardians as Toto sits back down in the penalty box. I believe he got
two.
An illegal reentry is what it looked like it was happening.
Yeah. Right-hand man looking a little winded there after that hit. And he's going to lose lead by giving the start to Bills. Well, he got 30 seconds left. I mean, you might as well at this point. And Bills...
Illegal star pass being called by the referees on right-hand man.
So it's going to be a power jam now in favor of Carolina because of the illegal pass. Bill was forced to drop the star.
Which he did with some gusto.
Yeah, he did not look happy about it, but can you blame him?
No.
So Toto threw the pack. That's only the initial pass, though. No points picked up there by Toto with only a few seconds left. And he's not going to get anything. So that was still a smart move by right-hand man to pass the star. He just didn't pass it correctly.
Correct.
And we're not sure. He may have fouled out for that.
He's skating on 6 or 7. Maybe.
He's close.
Score is 216 Wrecking Balls, 74 Cleveland Guardians. We are under 5 minutes left in this half right now. An official timeout is being called.
And it may be about the foul out because you do see the officials in the box. And Coach Nicky Numbers as well. So I believe I would guess that's what this official timeout is about to, of course, clarify it, make sure everybody knows what's going on. So under 4 minutes remaining, 3:58 on the clock, 2:16:74. This game is running a little longer, so I would not be surprised, folks, if the first game starts a little bit after 2 o'clock, just so our next two teams have enough time to warm up.
Nothing is set in stone here. Everything's still kind of fluid.
It's a tradition that Wheels of Steel, every game the first day has to go over. I believe the first year I was here, we went like an hour over after 2 games. It was something ridiculous like that. Well, pitter-patter, let's get at her. Come on.
What was that? Pitter-patter, let's what?
You clearly don't watch Letterkenny.
No, I've never seen it. I'm not too up on the new shows.
It's not that new. It's Canadian.
Oh, well.
You're spare parts, bud, aren't you there? All right, now the rest of the game I will do an entirely Letterkenny quotes to confuse Cregan.
God.
Have a puppers, bud. Get that W, boys. And okay, so right-hand man did foul out. And you probably saw he's not happy about it.
If I see him tonight, I will get him a drink for being the inaugural
He's
foul
getting
out
married
of
next week.
Wheels.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Let's just celebrate he didn't break. He's not broken.
Yes, he's not broken.
Maloik will be here on Sunday. She is not here today.
Yeah, but she's listening. So
she is listening.
He's fine. He skated off. He's good.
Yes. Also, don't take streaming advice from Maloik or else you will turn your stream off. And your mics. Fun fact, she texted me last year in the middle of the game saying that she couldn't hear anything, the mics were off, why couldn't she? Blah. And then I'm turning on and off the mics in the middle of a game, testing sound, and I get a text 2 minutes later, my TV was on mute. Moral of the story, don't listen to the viewers if it's Maloik. Everyone else, cool.
It looks like we've sorted out what is happening now.
Yes. So yeah, it was about the foul out. That was as Gary Sweat will now serve time for right-hand man in
as
the penalty
well as
box.
he should. But he's also had enough penalties. He's probably skating pretty close, too.
Gary Sweat serving time for London Mulling, who was serving time for right-hand man. London Mulling has fouled out. Gary Sweat is still in the game. 3 people are like, wait, what?
Who's on first? I don't know.
London Mulling technically fouled out of all of roller derby permanently and was replaced by Gary Sweat.
Ice Cold will be your lead jammer for the Wrecking Balls. Return to the action right now.
Yeah, 216-74 is the score in favor of Carolina. Carolina in orange, Cleveland in blue. Gary Sweat out of the box into the pack, and some help there from White Shadow as Mr. Sergei becomes Mr. Penalty Box guy. London Mulling completes his initial pass.
Looks like Ice Cold's trying to slow it down, get a little jammer on jammer coming around. I don't think Gary's wanting to play, though. And a call off by Ice Cold to end this jam.
Yeah, just as London Mulling was about to get a couple points there. So 2 more from Carolina. Now 218-74, under 3 minutes remaining in favor of Carolina. It is going to be... Oh, yeah, there's Rabbit. Sorry, Rabbit was out there. I didn't see him.
Rabbit versus number 0, Cambro for the Wrecking Balls.
Yeah, I haven't. We haven't seen Cambro.
Breaker.
Cambo Breaker. We haven't seen him put on the start. To start, he's taken it on a couple passes.
Rabbit will be your lead jammer for the Guardians.
And according to Maloik, right-hand man had a stipulation, and because he fouled out, the wedding's off. So.
Oh, well.
Rabbit is through the pack too.
So then I will still buy him a drink later on.
Yes, then you can buy him a different, a sad drink.
A sad drink now.
Whop, whop. Yeah, Rabbit is lead jammer in the pack, looking for some points now as we're about to hit the 2-minute mark. 1 to beat. That is number 51, Jam Room.
Jam Room going to the box on a penalty.
Slinging Grits with a good hit on Rabbit, forcing Recycle back. Now he's back in there trying to get past her again. And that's a low block on Grits.
Grits knew as soon as the whistle.
Yeah, I think everybody knew that.
Just got right up and hit
all
right
3 of us sitting here started making the hand signal for that one. Mr. Sergei with a directional penalty, so he can brag all he wants about not getting penalties in his first game.
Huge hit by Dr. Dreidel to the inside on Rabbit.
Rabbit does get through, though. That's another 4 for Cleveland. This might be their highest scoring jam so far. Bringing it up to 82 points. And Rabbit's going to close it. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's going to be called off. This looks like Cambo is down. So Maloik, run here from Cleveland. We need a medic. Kidding, we have great medics here already.
We have. Speaking of that, we have Tot running out there right now to check on Cambro.
Glad that Tot could take a moment away from attending Wheelie Rider to medic an entire tournament.
Current score right now is 219 for the Wrecking Balls, 82 for the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, we have 56 seconds remaining as well. I'm sorry, there's time increasing. 102 remaining as the clock didn't stop with the injury. So, of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Next Level Skate Shop. It's a full-service skate shop located in Cleveland. They're here this weekend, so if you need some gear, you can get it. Next Level will also be at Summer Affair, so if you're not from the area, but you're going to be here at some point, you'll be there at some point. Talk to Coco; she knows her stuff.
Cambro was able to get up off the track of his own volition and skate back to the bench, which is good to see.
Yep.
So now once we get everything reset, we'll be able to get back into the action. So Cambro, nothing serious as it looks, but probably a little winded.
And this will maybe be the final jam of the game. Bill's the extra jammer.
I do believe this is the first time we've seen Bills put the star on.
Well, he's just so extra anyway. So he's going up against Toto. So extra Kansas.
Extra Kansas. So that's Kansas City.
The Bills, who has an accent that sounds kind of like a Kansas. No, his accent actually sounds like straight up Alabama, and he's from Lorain County, Ohio. Howdy, y'all.
Oh, Toto picking up a penalty straight off. This will be a power jam for Bills and the Guardians.
And the thing about Bills, he's a speed skater. He has speed skated his entire life, and now you're seeing that speed moving to the inside.
Grits down.
He was literally slinging grits.
Yeah, he was. The literal her name was just happened. 4 on the board for Bills.
Maybe we should give him the star more often.
Yeah.
Bills in the pack. Grits again. 1-on-1. Tiptoes to the inside. 4 points, Guardians.
That's going to move him to 90. If he can get a couple more passes in there, they could break the century mark before this game is over.
Yeah, I mean, there's 16 seconds left on the game clock, but a minute 15 left on the jam clock. Now, Grits is at the front. That last line of defense against Bills going up now against Rugburn. Rugburn and Grits teaming up against them.
I feel like Grits was saying, you fooled me once, you fooled me twice. You're not getting through the third time without a fight.
Toto out of the pack. Bills trying to get those last few points. Period clock has expired. 50 seconds remaining on the jam clock. Another 4 points for Bills, and I think Toto's going to get a few points here. Another 4 points for Bills. Now the highest scoring jam for Cleveland. Bills went to the apex, and Dr. Dreidel said Hanukkah's over. No more gifts. And we have an injury.
Another injury. I believe Toto, the jammer, seems to be down right now.
Yes.
It's not in the view. You can't see us out of the view. Yeah, that's right out of the view.
So we do have an injury here. We have an unofficial final. That was the final jam, and time had expired. So it was 227 to 94 in favor of Carolina. We'll tell you once the official score is finalized.
And I do believe there's going to be an official review being called by the Guardians as soon as this is resolved.
Yeah, Coach Nikki Numbers holding up the O sign in her hand, so that's usually a sign of that.
A lot of action happening in those last 10 seconds before this injury, so it'll be interesting to see what the official review is actually on. Toto's up, also skating off his own volition, so that is good. He's been a powerful jammer for him, so it would be bad to see that.
And we still do have an official review because, an official review can totally change the score at this point. 227 to 94. In a game that ran overtime anyway. So, yes, we will probably be starting the second game a little bit later, as it is now 1:47, and the second game is scheduled to start at 2 o'clock, and the other teams have yet to warm up. It looks like it's a very quick official review as the refs are already standing.
They would like to have an additional jam because of unnatural ending.
Cleveland's asking for another jam because of the unnatural ending with the injury.
Actually, 2 jams ending in injury.
2 jams ending in injury.
Not unheard of, but it'll be interesting to see with the next bout coming up what
yeah,
the officials
especially
are going to go with.
Having gone overtime, and it's not going to make a difference in win-losses. I mean, yeah, Cleveland could get over the century mark, and that's a big deal. And when you are talking about the rankings, you're talking about a team 11 spots ahead of you. That can make a difference, absolutely. And personally, I think Cleveland has kind of at least met the expectation of where you would be in that, in that difference of the rankings. It's about where you'd think the score would be, 228 to 94.
Right.
So it could, it's an opportunity here for Cleveland to maybe close it a little bit. But at the same time, Carolina could be like, we don't want to do this. We're just going to have a 20-point run, and we're not going to shut it off. That hurts you.
It does. And it looks like they're still discussing right now. The officials are still talking about it.
You can't see it, but you can hear behind us Race City and Flower City just really anxious to get out there and start warming up. I'm anxious to get myself a walking taco.
Yeah, I was looking at those a second ago.
They got some really good food here.
They have a coffee on standby for me that I bought, but the coffee hadn't brewed yet, so I'm waiting for that as well.
And announcers eat free. All right, doesn't sound like they're going to get that. I don't know if they've been told that yet, but we've been told that.
So if you're talking to somebody on the bench via the live feed, you can go ahead and let them know.
Yeah, you can go ahead and, we're talking totally to the players now. They can hear us, with all those speakers in their helmets, but looks like they will not get that penalty or not get that extra jam.
They're being informed now.
They're being disappointed now, more like. we will talk about who the MVPs are, and we'll tell the teams and all that in our post game. So I think that's. Oh, and now Carolina's taking an official timeout.
Okay.
Because it's totally necessary when you've won the game, and we're 10 minutes before the next game's supposed to start. Totally supposed to happen. Yeah, this makes sense. Or maybe their official review is asking for an official end of the game.
Yeah, I'm not. There's a lot of hand signals going on here.
I don't know. Did they ask for an official review? Or no, it doesn't look like they did. I think Matt Splatter's messing. No, maybe. So the next game is probably starting next Thursday at this point.
Nice. Looks like the officiating crew is going to go talk again some more.
This totally happens in real sports.
Well, this is at least giving plenty of time for the track maintenance team to get some much-needed repairs in.
So they're looking for a penalty on Cleveland now for that, believing that Toto was clotheslined.
Which, for in the way of records keeping and for stats, it would make sense. But if the game's over, he's not going to go serve that penalty, and it's not going to carry over to the next game.
Yeah, exactly. However, it still does delay the next team starting up. It still delays the next game already late.